no way around it. That sucked. The Dallas Cowboys get their teeth kicked in by the Arizona Cardinals, and it certainly feels like, after dropping to 3-5-1, that the season is over for the Dallas Cowboys, given how tough of a schedule they faced down the stretch, how many tiebreakers they lose in the playoff race, how far behind they are in the NFC East, in the wild card race. It does not look very good. Instant reaction coming up. We will talk trade with tomorrow, or I guess this morning's, by the time this video goes out, trade deadline. We'll have like 13 hours from now. Don't think we'll get a push on today's video, so help us out, please, and thank you by sharing today's video. Tag a friend, post it on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. It'll help us out as the season continues to get away from the Dallas Cowboys. Quick injury notes. Don't have details on Dante Fowler, who made a great sack on Jacoby Brissett and then left the game again with an injury. But Dante Fowler seems primed to potentially miss some time on that front. We'll see how bad he's banged up. Dak Prescott got rolled up on, came back in the game, so that's a good sign. Clowney went down, but I think he was okay. DaRon Bland, we'll talk about, left the game, came back in. Marquise Bell had cramping, a lot of bumps and bruises, but nothing overly concerning there. Give me your one-word reaction to the Cowboys' loss against the Cardinals. Bad. All the negative words, I think, are one of them. That was a piss-poor performance out of by the Dallas Cowboys against the Arizona Cardinals. Takeaways. Look, I think we have to be honest with ourselves. This is not a good football team. They're not. Like, they have not done a good job of winning games. Like, they're a play away from having one win this year. Honestly, they are. I guess having 2 wins this year and sitting there at 2-7. Like, they're not good. Like, they almost had as many yards as Arizona because the Cardinals forgot to play football in the fourth quarter. But, like, they took too many sacks. The defense, a good performance by your defense is not 27 points in 3 quarters. Like, they didn't play well still. We know that, right? They finally got some stops on third downs. They finally got some sacks. They had a bunch of takeaways in this game, one of which was garbage time for the Cardinals. Like, I'm not going to ding them for that one. That was a Hail Mary on 4th and whatever because your offensive line stunk pass protection-wise again this game. This is, if we're being honest here, it's a bad team. And that will come into our 5th point here later on. So grade the Cowboys against the Cardinals. I think it's an F. You were a home favorite against a backup quarterback, and you lost by 2 scores that might not have been indicative of how non-competitive this game actually was. It's bad. The Cowboys, I'll come back to the defense down a little bit, but it's an F. It's an F. I'll be honest, the guys you've paid recently, they stunk tonight. Well, not all of them, but many of them. You had mistakes across the board from this Cowboys team on offense in particular. You stunk in pass protection. Josh Sweat and Calais Campbell down the stretch of this game ate your lunch money. Josh Sweat was constantly harassing your offensive linemen. This is the PFF numbers up front on the offensive line. Nathan Thomas allowed 3 pressures in 18 reps. Horrible. Tyler Booker allowed 3 pressures. Terrence Steele allowed 2. Felt like it was more, frankly, but he got beat a bunch. Tyler Guyton allowed 2. BB played pretty well. Calais Campbell, Josh Sweat. These guys cooked you up front, man. DaRon Bland was horrible tonight. Like, just horrible in coverage. I don't know if it's bigger receivers he can't hang with. I don't know. The early PFF numbers are, my God, 12 of 10 for 113 yards and a touchdown. Got his ass kicked tonight. Now, I think a couple of those, like the linebackers, have to get better depth, but he got cooked. Jake Ferguson fumbled away 3 points. You know? He had 3 points fumbled away by Javonte Williams. Like, all these mistakes are an embarrassment. It's all the owner's fault, by the way. It's all the owner's fault. Today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. The hard-hitting football action is even better with Prize Picks, unless you're watching the Cowboys. The weather might be changing, but the feeling of being right never gets old. Keep the season rolling on Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups after you play your first $5. Prize Picks is the only app that offers stacks. You pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. We did not hit our Prize Picks lineup tonight. We were close for a little bit. We had George Pickens more than 66.5 receiving yards. He checked in at 79. That one hit. Javonte did not have the touchdown. Trey McBride was 11 yards shy. Bit unfortunate there. Go download the Prize Picks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Now, we'll talk about the defense. I don't think your offense played very well. Remember, 7 of those points came off of a blocked punt by Sam Williams and was recovered by Marshawn Nealand in the end zone for a touchdown. The Cowboys did run the ball pretty well. They were down by so many points early that it kind of limited their ability to stick with it. But Javonte, 15 carries, 83 yards. Dak actually scrambled very well, 4 carries, 34 yards. They averaged almost 6 yards per carry. And you take away Turpin and Malik Davis for 2 carries, 6 yards. They did. Dak's numbers don't look very good. He had a spike, a throwaway, the desperation Hail Mary play that gets picked off. And what was it? 3 drops? 4 drops in this game? Somewhere in that ballpark. I don't think Dak played his best game ever, but he was under consistent duress. The offensive line did not do a very good job. I think if we're assigning blame on offense, like the fumbles by Jake Ferguson and Javonte Williams, the consistent penalties in this game, the in general red zone inefficiency and disaster are all far more impactful on that front. Josh Sweat, 8 pressures on 32 pass rushes, season high and second most in his game. You have to be able to pass protect. And I thought the offensive line, everybody involved, did a pretty poor job on this front. The offense, they moved the ball well into the red zone, and they gave up, 3 chances to score points. They got nothing thanks to penalties and fumbles. 4 of them. They did not play well tonight. But I think the issues, they go deeper than the quarterback, and that's the problem in general with this team. They're deep issues. By the way, your defense still sucks. I do want to acknowledge that. 27 points in 3 quarters is not good. Don't let a fourth quarter, defensive bounce back fool you. The defense stunk tonight. They got going late. Special teams helped you out. Shout out to Sam Williams doing something positive for the first time all year, it felt like. Your defense is not good. Allowing 10 yards in 3 quarters? That's bad. 7 of 9 to begin the game on 3rd downs. They got some sacks late. That matters. Cool. Sweet. 27 points per game is actually a bad defense still. We do know that, right? Because I don't know if we actually truly know it. You have the worst 3rd down defense in ever. It is the worst 3rd down defense that anyone has ever played. Now, we'll see if it stays that way, but if you limit yourself to 27 points per game, guess what? You're still a bottom 10 defense on this team. And some stats I did want to read off, by the way. Make sure I get this right. Arizona was the only team in the NFL without a drive of 74 yards or more this season. Not only did they get that first drive of 74 yards, they had back-to-back drives of 74 yards allowed. What am I supposed to do with that? Other stat I want to make sure I read off correctly from ESPN. Entering Sunday, the Cowboys allowed points on a league-high 49.4% of drives. They allowed touchdowns or points on 3 touchdowns, 2 field goals on 5 of their first 6 possessions. Teams have scored on 48 of 94 possessions against the Dallas Cowboys. They suck on defense. Do not forget that. They are a bad team. Now we're going to be live again tomorrow. My voice may or may not be gone. we will have more updates for you on potential trade. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. Hit that sub button if you haven't already. You should not make a trade. Don't do it. Do not trade. Do not trade. You should not. Jerry saying post-game, as long as you're mathematically involved, you should be there to go do it. Then has said he does not have a trade in place after saying twice tonight he did have a trade in place, and says, I think I'll do the trade. So he knows what the offer is and is waffling on whether or not to actually do it. Do not trade. Do not trade. Keep your assets. Look, we can be mad about the team, whatever. Like, don't trade your picks. Trade them in the offseason if you need to. Do not make a trade that costs you key assets this year. I get we're mad about the Cowboys drafting. Do we trust them trading-wise? Because your recent trades outside of George Pickens all suck. Kyer Elam, Kenneth Murray, Jonathan Mingo can't even get his ass on a field right now. I am not trading anything unless it's a multiple young under control contract player, and I don't think those guys exist. Keys to victory. Did these happen? Dak bounce-back? Not really. Again, bigger issues, but far from his best. But again, he has to have his A game to win games. It's an issue. Defense don't suck. Nope, they're still bad. They're still bad. 27 points is not good. Quarterback doesn't have his best game ever. I mean, the first 3 quarters he sure as shit did, didn't he? That was a good performance at Cooper said. Better run game. You did. If the game is close, be clutch. No. What'd you do in clutch moments? You fumbled twice. You missed a long field goal, which would have been nice to have, that 68-yarder. Your defense got some stops late, but then also couldn't stop anything late down the stretch. And then you had multiple blown pressures, and it was bad. It was bad across the board. So, no, you didn't deliver in the clutch, and your team is not a good football team.